Dragon Ball community, welcome back to another video. As we now we're going into one of the probably forgotten leaders. I don't think this deck has ever really been relevant since its reboot. There was a time where the deck was there was a weird gimmick concept for it, but it has never really been played, and I'm not sure if the support really puts the deck into contention. But we're gonna find out. I spent a lot of time on this build because I did a few different variations. This one seems to have the most just generic utility. So we'll start here with the leaders. Disregard all of this because for whatever reason DBS Tech Planet has the same effect on both sides here. I'm not sure. Once a card attacks a leader, so you have to attack a leader, you draw a card and you get 5k for the turn, so you get to bump up the 15k on your unawakened turn, which is nice. You awaken at 4. Reset 1, draw 1. That's typical back then. Now when you attack, you draw a card, you get 5k, and then you get to play a 2-cost skillless from the drop area. So you get to play a battle card for free and draw a card, which is pretty cool. Then you have an activate main or battle. On either turn, you choose one card in your hand and discard it. Choose one of your opponent's battle cards with double strike, crit, or blocker, and KO it. This is really strong. Being able to punch cards on offense and on defense with just pitching a card is sometimes better than just removing a card from like comboing something. So just being able to just have like this on effect, like haze effect almost for any card, as long as it doesn't have barrier and it doesn't have like indestructible or a permanent where it can't be KO. Like this is really strong. So you can KO any of these 3 keyword skills here, which are all pretty good keyword skills. So we're gonna go over the list. Hit doesn't have a huge archetype, so that's something to keep in mind. Like there's not a ton of archetype cards that actually work in this deck. So what I did was I decided to go the Android route, and I felt like this was just the most generic thing you can do. And unfortunately, right now, if you are not a Red Saiyan leader, your options for just generic support is there's not a lot. It's very strict amount of cards you can actually use. So we went with the Android archetype. So we have both of these 17s, which are just one drop cantrips, essentially, because every deck needs some sort of cantrip. So we have 8 of these. We play the Unison, hit, ready to brawl. You can put a skillless into the drop from your deck, and also take a life off the +1. You can play a mono red hit that costs 4, which is I think it's called Farsight, I think, or something like that. It used to be a really interesting old SR, but we don't play that card. You also can divert an attack to your leader if it's the battle card that's 10 or more once per turn, which is kind of nice. Then you can actually like make your opponent attack your leader, and then if it's a battle card with double strike or crit and you're awoken, you can kill it. And also this kind of like forces your opponent to sometimes awaken you, right? Because like if you're at 5 and like you use this, and then you're at 5, like you can force your opponent to attack your leader, so that way you can awaken. And then, maybe you can awaken on your opponent's turn and play a little bit of defense, maybe. We do play 2 hit skillless, and then we play 3 of the Android 17 skillless. We need to stick to 2 costs because our leader only plays 2 costs, or 2 or less, and we're not going to play 1 drop skillless, so we'll just play the 2 costs here. We have 3 unlimited potential. That's one of the Saiyan cards you can play that is generic. We have 2 defeating the demon counterplay that you can play. We have 4 of the 3-drop Pan, Grandfather's Strength. Cost 1. You need a 15k battle card in play on either board. And then when the power of a card is increased, you draw a card and then minus a card by 20k. So already, first way we can do this is by our leader. So on either turn, our leader gains 5k. So our leader is able to proc Pan every turn, which is really good. So we can play Pan, we can swing a leader, we'll draw a card off leader, we'll play a 2 cost, right? So we can play one of these guys, and then we get to use Pan's effect, draw another card, and then minus a card by 20k. So we have a 15k body on board to help with removal. We're swinging 20k, and we're playing either a 15 or a 20k for free. So that's pretty good value early on. This is pretty good value. So let's see what else we got. We got 4 super combos. We're gonna pick Raditz. It's just the most generic one you're gonna play. You can play King Piccolo or Piccolo Jr., the one that you just need 2 Z energy, and then it's a bottom deck 1 draw 2. If you want, I think that one's fine too. I just went with Old Reliable. 1 Yamcha, since we are playing a 2-cost Unison, and then we are playing this awesome package of just really good generic red cards, right? Like all of these are just super good red cards that you're gonna play. 17 and Hellfighter 17 costs 1 if your leader's red. Draws us a card. Also allows us to combo a card from the drop whenever this card is comboed from a battle area. So we can combo this from the battle area. We can combo one of our 17s here. And then we can also then play Super 17 for 1, since we'll have a 17 and a Hellfighter 17 in the combo area. We get to draw a card, and then we can activate battle to put one of those cards from our Z energy underneath this, draw another card, and then minus a card by 20k. Also gains barrier the turn you played. It's also a blocker. It's a 30k. Like, this is just really good value, right? On top of that, we have this Goku here, which if our opponent has a 30k battle card in play, or if we do, we can play this guy for 2. We get to play a skills from the drop, and then if we have a red original skills card in play, we can kill a card that's 30k or less, ignoring barrier, which we will definitely have because we can play these guys here. All right, we have 2 of the Gohan Unlimited Potential. Just again, just good generic red stuff. I've probably said this in every red deck profile. You don't need an archetype for this card. It's just good. You draw 2 cards, you discard 2 cards, you make all of your cards 5k combo that are on board. It's just incredibly generic here. So this is kind of our huge generic package that we're playing here. 1 Heated Fighting Spirit, because you're always going to play Overwhelm. Overwhelm in this deck is a little awkward, though, because you don't really want to get rid of your drop area. So this is sort of like that final turn push where you just need to get something removed off the board. We have 3 of the new, finally a new card for the deck. We have Hit Final Warrior. You play it for 2. If your leader's hit, you draw a card, and you minus a battle card by 20k. It's a 25k dual attacker. Then activate Battle. You choose one of your hit cards, or one of your opponent's battle cards, and then they gain one of the following keyword skills. You give it crit, double strike, barrier, or blocker, and the chosen card gains that keyword skill until the end of your opponent's turn. So typically on offense, what you're going to do is you're going to play a hit. You're going to kill 20k, right? You're going to draw a card. You're going to swing with leader or swing with hit or whatever, and then you're going to activate battle to give hit barrier. That's what I would do, right? So now he is a 25k barrier with dual attack, right? So he can swing twice. Now what you can do is, now on defense, if your opponent can't remove this guy, essentially now what you can do is you can use this as a negate, in a sense, where you can activate battle. If your opponent decides to attack into your leader or a battle card, it's got double strike or crit or whatever, you can use this to give it either crit, double strike, or blocker, and then use your leader effect to then kill it. You also can just give your leader double strike, right? Like, you can give your leader double strike, you can give your leader crit, you can give this card crit or double strike or blocker or whatever it is. But typically you're going to be using it for that reason, just because that's like the easiest way of going about it. Like, you can just use this to just help kind of remove stuff on the board. But also it is a pretty big body. I wish it was a 30k. I don't like it being a 25k as a 2 cost. That seems just kind of bad now. Most of the time your 2 costs are going to be 30k or more. So that part sucks a little bit, but it does give keyword skills, so that's kind of a little bit, I guess that kind of makes up for it a little bit. We have 1 Lightning Fast Hit. This is an old card used to play in this deck. It evolves on top of any hit battle card for 5 energy, which is crazy. But when it evolves into a card, you inflict 2 damage on your opponent. So this is a way to kind of win the game late. If your opponent ever goes down to 2, you can swing at leader, you can play this hit from the drop, and then you can just evolve over it for 5 and kill your opponent. Or you can evolve over the 8 drop if it's stayed alive for a turn as well. So it just says a hit card. So it just says hit, so it doesn't need to be a specific energy cost. All right, Secret Rare is going to be Vegito. We can't play Vegito, SS4 Vegito Overwhelm because our leader's not a Saiyan. All the other red Secret Rares are just not great for this deck. This makes the most sense. It pops something 35k ignoring barrier. You also get to add a red card back from the drops. You can add super combos. And it costs 1. It's a 40k triple striker. This is probably the most generic Secret Rare you're going to play now for red decks going forward. Unless you are playing a red Saiyan deck, and you'll still probably play Light in the Dark. We have 4 Explosive Dance, 1 Flight of the Grand Eagle, 2 Testing, and then we have 2 Topo in the main deck. This should probably be Imposing, but we are not a Saiyan leader, so we can't play Imposing. So we just needed just a little bit of extra defense. You can do this. You also can do Protector of the People, whichever one you decide to do here. All right, so the Z deck makes a little more sense. We'll make this deck make a little more sense because of this guy here. So Champa Tournament Proposal. This is the other card this deck got as new support. 2 cost, 1 Z energy. Deflect, barrier, blocker, right? This already is a really good stat line. Because this part can be used in almost any deck, right? This is just a 2 cost with barrier, blocker, and deflect. So that's actually not a bad stat line, right? But if your leader's hit, you can discard a card from your hand. Then you get to play the hit unison from your deck in rest mode with 2 markers on it. You can shuffle your deck, and then during this turn, you can activate the Awaken skill on your leader if your life is at 6 or less. So this allows us to awaken a little bit earlier, which is actually really nice. Okay, the second effect is when an original skillless battle card that costs 2 or less is played from your drop. You give that card 10k for the turn. Then at the end of the turn, you return that card from the battle area to your hand. Switch this card to active mode. So this card can swing. It also buffs one of your skillless by 10, which will trigger Pan, right? So this also will trigger Pan. So not only can you draw off leader, and then you can play this, you'll draw off Pan, and then Champa will give it 10k. So then this will be a 25 or a 30k body, which is really cool. And then also this card will then add that skillless back to your hand at the end of the turn, so you get to essentially draw one. And then this guy switches to active mode, so then he will use it as a blocker. It's a really, really good stat line. We have one Gogeta, which I believe I took out the Vegeta in this deck. So this probably should just be an extra copy of something else in the deck. So we're just going to put that right there. We're not going to look at that. We have one Defender, one Goku Nonstop, one Majin Buu, Omega Shenron, and Jiren. This should probably be like a Goku or like another Mighty Blast. So we'll just kind of keep that blank there. But this is kind of your typical red Z deck here. This is all pretty normal stuff. But the Champa we're definitely going to play 3 of. So that is the deck. This is a little bit of a shorter video. There's not a ton of data really for this deck because it's never really been played at a high level. I think right now this is a pretty decent rogue pick for people going into the anniversary box set. So you guys let me know if you guys have found any cool tech you guys want to bring up in the chat. Let me know. I'm definitely gonna be testing this deck, and it might be one of those sleeper picks that we'll end up trying out in some capacity. So thank you guys for watching. As always, like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.